Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Our guests today, including Carl Valentine, standing by, sponsored by Passant Motors. It's March Mayhem this month at Passant. Score yourself a great deal on a new-to-you vehicle. Learn more at basantmotors.com. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. I didn't realize I said this, but Taylor, it's crocodile tears. Everyone knows alligators don't have tear ducts. Nice work, Canada. And Dolly, for once, is correct. Red only in Qatar. Did I say alligator tears?
Hey, yes, you did. Everyone knows it's crocodile
tears. To this day, I don't know the difference between alligators and crocodiles.
It's a big difference, Donnie.
Oh, tell us what it is there.
Well, I'm not going to tell you right now.
Because you don't know.
Hey, Ryan, get two pictures up, alligator and crocodile, and we'll show you the difference.
We'll get right on that. I think there's a difference in their snouts.
Nah, there's a big difference between the two.
Well, you have no clue. Carl's waiting here.
Yeah,
okay.
Ask Carl.
So Canada qualifies for Qatar. That is in November of 2022. Carl Valentine joins us now. He's with the Whitecaps, a member of the Canadian team that qualified for the World Cup, played in the World Cup in Mexico in 1986. Carl, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
Good. You guys look like you have too much fun on there.
We do. Carl, the most important matter at hand, do you know the difference between alligators and crocodiles, and could you explain that to us?
Well, I think we should go to Florida and throw one of you in the swamps, and we'll find out that way.
Yeah. There's people in this who watch this show who would love to see that. But, Carl, your reaction to Canada qualifying for the World Cup for the first time since your group did it in 86?
Just brilliant. I don't have to answer that question, why we're not qualified since 86 anymore. And it was just a magical moment. The scenes, obviously, it's things that has been passionate to players, fans, coaches for 30-odd years. We thought we'd be qualifying for every World Cup since, and it's been very frustrating. So to finally see it come to fruition, and they're actually going to go there with a really, really good team that no one will want to play against. It's just so exciting and such a relief.
Was Sunday emotional for you, Carl?
Yeah, it was. It was, because you see, there was players being interviewed, almost in tears. It's been so tough. CONCACAF is very hard to get out of, and we've had some good teams over the years, but and when we have a good team, it's like, this is the year we're going to qualify, but it's hard going into these countries and playing under difficult conditions. It's probably one of the hardest conferences to get out of, and obviously we haven't done it for so many years. So I think you see players that have been in the team, that are in the team. It was just so emotional to get through, because it was a big ask.
Carl, do you remember the day your group qualified for the World Cup in Mexico? When you qualified, I believe it was September 14th, 85. Do you remember that day in St. John's?
Yeah, I do. I was playing in England. I only got called up for the last game, and obviously flying back from England to St. John's was, even for me, I'm like, where are we? But it was a great call to pick that venue. The atmosphere was absolutely tremendous. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure going into the game, because there was a lot at stake, and Honduras were a very strong team that were qualifying for every World Cup. So there was a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety. But in the end, what a great result. And you see the fans afterwards on the pitch. And it was just a great moment. But it was such an incredible game and an incredible atmosphere.
So, Carl, let's look ahead now for us. You've watched this Canadian team. You've been at the biggest stage in the world. Can this team do damage in Qatar, score goals and pick up wins? Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I've been asked that before. And, when I look at it, obviously we're all excited and hyped and stuff. So, you don't want to get carried away. But I'll just say it this way. When you look at the team, it's a young team. It's a hungry team. It's a team that's got lots of talent. They're fast. They're dynamic. They've got goal scorers. But the thing that gives them the best chance to do some damage in the World Cup is that they've all bought into playing for Canada. I might be wrong. When I chose Canada, I think I was the only one, maybe not natural Canadian, that was playing on the team. There's a lot of players that could have picked other countries that have played for Canada. And you have to give John Herdman a great credit for that. And they work so hard for each other. And when you have that much talent in your team and you work as hard as they do, they've been to Mexico, got a result. They've been to USA, got a result. And every time America and Mexico have gone to the World Cup, having won CONCACAF, they've got out of the group. So I don't think the expectations are too high, saying they shouldn't get out of the group. It's a big ask, but they have the talent and the desire to do it.
Hey, Carl, you stayed in Canada after playing. You set your roots here. So you've known now for 36 years. You've been watching the program. Why did it take so long for the Canadian program to get back here? 36 years is a long time.
Yeah, when we qualified, I think then every team that qualified got $1 million plus, which was a lot of money back in 1986. And you think, okay, well, you've got $1 million and you can put it into infrastructure and I actually thought, I would think 26, I thought, oh, I might make 2 World Cups now. And we thought we was going to qualify for every World Cup. I think a lot of people say the money wasn't spent wisely, but not having a Canadian Soccer League was the big factor. The NSL have folded. The nearest we came to qualifying again, we had a game in Toronto. It was a big ask. We had to play Mexico at home, but if we won that game, we went to a World Cup. We ended up going ahead 1-0, losing 2-1. But most of that team played in the Canadian Soccer League.
Yes.
That was the closest we come. So it's not a coincidence that you need that infrastructure. I mean, now you've got Canadian players playing in some top teams around the world. You've got one that's won a European Championship with Bayern Munich. So obviously that's progressed. We have a Canadian Soccer League now. We have the MLS teams. And, we have a foundation now. And for many, many years, as I said, CONCACAF's a hard division to get out of. And when you don't have your own league, Panama does, El Salvador, Jamaica, they all have their own leagues and developing players. And we've never had that. And that's why it's been so tough on these players to get out of this conference.
How much do you know what John Herdman gets up to, Carl? And how much he has to do with the success of this team?
Oh, it's huge. It's no coincidence. Maybe because I don't know if it's not. Maybe because it's not been tried before, but he's the first coach that's qualified a women's team and a men's team to a World Cup. But you see what he did with the women, and I had my reservations. You think, okay, he's been very, very successful there. Is he going to be successful with the men? And I think it was some rocky roads at the beginning. And just because he had to adapt to what he was doing, and I think that's the most impressive thing for me, is that he probably took some of the things that have worked with the women and maybe tried to do with the guys, and it didn't work out, and he adapted. But what the main thing he's done, and he did it with the women, is just it's a pride. And I think everyone's proud to play for your country. Don't get me wrong. I think it's there. But I think just so much more now, it's like come and play for Canada. I think he's got the CSA on board. I think they're doing more for the players. I think the players come and know that they've got great opportunities. Because I think when you listen to some of the players that have played before, it was just like, well, we come here. We didn't have the backing of the board, and we didn't have things in place to help us qualify. And now what John has done, he's got all them in place. And obviously he's got a lot of talent and he's moulded that. And you can just see how proud they are to play for Canada now. And it's just exceptional.
One more, Carl. I can't remember if it was you that told me this or Bob or Dolly, but in the tunnel in Mexico, you're playing France and they're standing nearby is Platini. And there's an intimidation factor there that, in part Canada couldn't get over. Do you think this team is going to be fazed by moments like that this time around?
Yeah, it's a great question, Donny. I think, for some of the players, they're playing in Europe and they're playing against these players anyway. So it may be not as intimidating as it was for us. I mean, when you look at that team that we had, George Pecos, his job was a water meter. And, so for a lot of the players in that tunnel and seeing Platini and Gires and Blanc and all these players that were one of the favourites to win the World Cup, you look across and you go, wow. But I think for this team, they've, as I said, some of the players have played against the top players in the world, in Europe, and done well. They've gone to Mexico and the USA and not just got results, but dominated. I think there'll be respect, no doubt, because it's still Canada and it's our first World Cup, and some of these other countries have been there a long time. So I think they give them the due respect. But I think what Herdman will have with them is that they know they have to go out, they have to work hard, they have to play their A game to get results. And I don't think that's going to change going on the World Cup scene. I think that's what's going to give them the best chance, is that they're going to go out and outwork the other team, and then with the talent that they have, they're going to be in every game.
Man, it's nice talking to you, Carl. We could go on and on. Thanks so much for this, and
always a pleasure.
Congratulations to you, because I know this was a big moment for you. So I appreciate it.
You guys stop having fun and then let me know what the difference is between an alligator and a crocodile, please.
Yeah. And by the way, Carl, when I said this was a big moment for you, I meant yesterday, not doing this interview. Thanks, Carl.
No, this is a big moment for me. I had as much fun as you guys, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
One of the best.
Appreciate it.